Welcome, everybody. Today is a really special day because we are going to have people that are coming on in to practice what we call the sales conversation. Now, one of the coolest things about online tutoring is that it's really not too much of a sales conversation compared to anything else that you've experienced. If you've ever been in sales, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is one of the easiest ways to be able to get students is through online tutoring. However, we can increase and improve our strategy to be able to get better at the sales conversation. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing here today. I have some amazing people who have volunteered to practice the sales conversation, get feedback so that they can actually do a better job when they are talking with clients and get more people saying yes and leaving less money on the table. Now, there's a lot of things that will come into consideration. And the easiest thing for people to say is they're not moving forward with you because maybe it costs too much. That's the easiest excuse for people to be able to give you. But sometimes there's some underlying factors that they're not really talking to you about. And one of those is confidence. So we need to be extremely confident when we are talking to people. However, too much confidence, cocky, and kind of talking all about ourselves will actually lead to people doubting us and not believing us. So you don't want to come off as too cocky. Another problem that people have is they state how much they charge as a question. So all of a sudden they'll be like, someone will say, so how much do you charge? And they'll say, $45 an hour. Okay, again, you're going to put doubt into their eyes. We want to state that nice and clear and then ask if they're ready to get started. And the third thing I want to bring to your point is the more that we ask questions about the specific child that we are working with, that actually builds this trust, right? And it builds professionalism because you're trying to learn everything you can about the child. And even using empathy when the parents are talking to you, are you listening? Are you repeating back what they're saying? Are you hearing them? Or are you just thinking about the next thing that you need to say? These are all really tricky things to do in the beginning, but we are going to get to see people that are going to get to try this out and practice it today. So glad that you guys are all here and joining us. So the very first person I'd like to introduce you guys to is Dr. Lauren Joseph. Welcome, Dr. Lauren. How are you today?
I am doing really well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So tell us a little bit about who you tutor and like who your ideal student is.
Sure. So I am Dr. Lauren Joseph of LJ Academics, and I am an academic writing and research coach, and I help college and graduate students conquer their writing and research goals. So that ranges from short essays, research papers, to theses, to grant scholarship applications, and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Awesome. And have you had the opportunity yet? Because we inside of our group, we have some of us have practiced the sales conversation with our accountability partner, possibly inside of our group for coaching. Did you have a chance yet to practice your sales conversation yet?
Interestingly, I actually had the chance to practice it yesterday when I had a potential client. So,
Oh, well, there you go.
yeah.
Fantastic. And how did it go?
I haven't had them book it yet, but they sounded like they were really interested, and I sent them the links for the buying the packages, and
Okay.
I think that I'll check my email after this and see if it pops up. It was it was for something that they that I do, but it's not within my exact specialty, but I've actually found a lot of clients there. And so it was with grant writing, but it's
Okay.
a same thing. And I actually used some of the ideas that you had told me. I made sure that I listened, made sure that I didn't talk too much, made sure that, kind of asked them about their issues, but yeah. So
I
it was helpful.
love it. So we're gonna practice this today. And tell me, who am I so that I can put on my best acting
Sure.
persona?
So let's say you are a college freshman coming in and you are realizing that you are not getting the grades that you want in your um, social sciences, let's say your sociology class, or because you don't know how to write an essay, you don't know what you're doing, or even a discussion board question post. You just find that you're not getting the grades that you want, and you would like to get better grades than you're getting, and you're not really sure what to do about it and how to fix it.
Perfect. And do you find that the students at the college level, they're the ones that are specifically contacting you, or is it their parents?
I believe that, so it's a new business, so we have to see. But I believe that it's going to be the college students who talk to me and then make a case to their parents for it.
Got it. Okay. I wonder too if it would be better to have both of them on the call at the same time then. That would be like in the ideal situation. So I'm going to be the student right now, and we're going to pretend that my mom is here too.
Okay, or we could make it a college senior. I mean, a college senior might, I don't know, whatever you want to, whatever's best.
Yeah, no,
All
no,
right.
that works. I can definitely, I'll play the part of the student, and then I'm just going to pretend that my mom is like right by me too, so that we can have that like conversation and see if this is going to be a good fit. So perfect. All right, I'm calling you up. Bring.
Hello, this is Lauren.
Hi, Lauren. Is this Dr. Lauren Joseph that helps with writing?
Yes, absolutely. I am Lauren Joseph, Dr. Lauren Joseph with LJ Academics. Is that something you are interested in talking about?
Yes, absolutely. I always did really good when I was in high school, and now that I'm in college, I am just really struggling with being able to write in a way that is grammatically correct. I seem to always write the way that I speak, and this did well for me when I was in high school, but it just seems that they're expecting something different in college. Is this something that you help with?
Absolutely, yes. So you probably have all these really great ideas, and you find that when you sit down, you are just not getting them across on the page as well as you'd like, and that your professors like. And I can definitely help you with that. And it's something I have. So I was a college, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was a college professor for about 10 years, and I worked with tons of students, and I have absolutely helped with a lot of people who are in your situation. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about what's going on with you? Who are you? What are you thinking about as your major? Yeah, let me know what class actually you're struggling with the most.
Oh my gosh, I feel like all of them. I just didn't realize how much writing was involved in each of the classes, how many papers I needed to write. I'm so used to just doing the assignments, turning them in and getting A's. And now that I'm doing the assignments, there's so much writing that's involved. I feel like I'm not getting those ideas down, just like you said. And I'm majoring in sociology, and I'm not really even sure like how much writing I'll have to do with that as I go into that major. Like, is this something that I should be focusing on? I mean, I really want to get better grades is what I really want.
Yeah, and you should get better grades. And usually it's just a matter of like kind of showing you what the skills that you need to do it. So like, yeah, you can definitely go get your paper written by somebody, pay someone else to write it, or we can sit down and I can help you with a paper that you're working on right now, or a discussion board post. I mean, I imagine that those are kind of similar situation, and we can work on that, and and in the process, I'm going to show you how to do this so you can basically do it in your sleep by the time that you're done. Is there an assignment that you're working on right now that's like really tough for you? That's coming up, or like a research paper, for example.
Yeah.
Do you have any research papers that are happening?
Yes, I do. I do. And I just don't even know like where to start when it comes to even writing it. Um, I have all these ideas that kind of flow through my head, and I just really can't seem to organize my thoughts in order to get it down on paper.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. I have worked with other students who are in the exact same situation, and I've worked with, I've worked with all the students that I taught for 10 years, and I've worked with other college students who are absolutely in the exact same situation. So it's not difficult if you just, spend a little time with me, and I will get you there. It's not a problem.
Awesome.
Do you have a time that you would like to, do you have, is there a good time? Have you talked to your parents about this?
I did. They're totally on board with this, and they say whoever I
Awesome.
choose, they're willing to go forward with. So my parents are so supportive of everything that I do. They're my biggest cheerleaders.
Okay. That's fantastic. That's amazing. Wonderful. And I think that they're going to be really happy. So do you want to know a little bit about kind of how we move forward? Are you basically, I would, if you want to look at my website, I have different packages that are there. And the, if you want to, and you essentially you go, I will, why don't you give me your email and I'm going to email you a link to package, or do you want to just start out with, I mean, I imagine you have a paper that's due like very, very soon. Is that the situation?
Yeah, I do have about 2 weeks that I can work on it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why don't you let me know if when you're thinking of I'm going to send you a link to buy a package. You can buy I have different packages for, so you can buy 1 hour, which is $80 an hour, and or you can buy like a starter package, which is a really good idea for somebody in your situation, where you get 3 hours for $199, or you can and then it goes, when you buy more sessions, it can go up to 40% off of that. So if you buy 50 hours, for example, it's 40% off of that total. So the more that we kind of invest, then the cheaper, the less expensive it is. And I can definitely get you from where you need to go. So I'm going to send you a link. Why don't you give me your email address?
Sure. It is jbkaminsky@gmail.com.
Okay, I love that. That is awesome. I'm going to send you a link for, and you can basically just schedule it directly from that link.
All right.
And I'm really, really glad to talk to you.
All
It's
right.
really
Thank
fun.
you so much.
Tell me your name again. I want to make sure you get it. So it's Joanne Kaminsky,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Awesome. And remind me, what school are you, what college are you going to?
Marquette University.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I am really glad to meet you.
All right. So you notice at the end there, like,
yeah,
the end right there, right? The end, when it came to the pricing and what do I do to move forward, that's where all of the uncertainty began to come on in, and the confidence began to, the entire conversation before that was super confident. You are like, yep, I exactly know how to help you. I can help you reach that goal. But then when it came down to the pricing, which I never asked about pricing.
Yeah, I was a little, I actually, with the person yesterday, it was smoother. This one, yeah, went less smooth. Yesterday, I didn't even mention the pricing, and she only found out about it when she went to go book later. Yeah, it was a little bit awkward this time.
Yeah. So, and you don't have to bring up pricing unless somebody asks, how much do you charge? At that point in time, you do not need to bring up the pricing whatsoever. And especially since I'm the student, and if I'm not going to pay for it, I've already told you, my parents are on board with whatever I decide to do. They're on board no matter what. Go with that. Skip that conversation. It's not needed to be had. If you do need to have it, it will be with the parent later on if they ask you or if they have any questions. Otherwise, just say, fantastic. Just let them know, like, I'm going to send you a link to the website so that you can book the sessions.
Okay.
And that's it. Just leave it at that.
That would have been much easier. Yeah, I got a little bit lost in, because usually we go from phone to a Zoom to the booking the sessions, but this was kind of in between, but I need to, I need to get comfortable with it. So basically I should just send them into the website, which has all the links, and you can decide which package you like. We can start, and I can suggest like a starter package for 3 hours for, check that one out.
Yeah. That would be the best. That would be the best way to go about that. And then just send them the exact link. If you have a link that goes to several different options for them, they get lost in the process and they don't take action. And then you're stuck constantly having to follow up with them in that process. Like, did you click the link? Did you do this? And it can be quite annoying. The other thing that you can do is you can ask them if they're ready to get started right away. Like, so you ready to get started? Yes. Great. Let's find a day and time that's going to work the best for you.
That's what I should have said. Actually, that's what I had written down as my plan to say. That's totally what I should have done. I should have been like, that's fantastic. When are you free? Let's do this. Like, do we start working on this tomorrow?
Yes.
I have time. Let me pull out my calendar and okay, this is fantastic. Let's do this I will, kind of book them in my calendar and then send them
Yes.
the link.
And
Okay.
if you're booking inside of your calendar right away, it almost like skips that whole process of like them having to go book or do that. If you've got like the different scheduled packages and that kind of stuff, you could even ask them, what is going to be the best way for you to pay for the sessions? Is it something that you're going to be paying for or something that your parents are going to be paying for? Right.
Yeah.
And so then you could even grab their credit card information right here on the call. Right. So if they already have a credit card that they can utilize for these sessions, boom, just say, great, what's the best credit card that I can grab for you to be able to get these sessions started? If you can grab all that information right now, right here, I gotta tell you, you're not going to have a problem with connecting with them after the call.
That's so true. And I can do that. I can book it for them with their credit card. I
Yep.
think I can figure it out.
If you can do that on this call,
if I have the number.
that will definitely make it, it makes it easy for them. It's not like they have to take another step, right? And the more steps we make for them to take, the less likely they are to take them. So great stuff going on here. I love it. What a great opportunity to kind of like practice that on out. We just got a shout out to Limitless Learners. Is that your team, Limitless Learners? I love it. I love it. And I think that you did a great job right on up until that very end there. You had it. You're like, okay, what's the next question I'm going to ask? And really that's the key, is what is the next question that I can ask this person. So well done. You guys, we've got Lori Baker. Hey, Lori, how's it going? Oh, we got to get you unmuted.
There good. How are you?
Yay, I'm good. So tell us a little bit more about who you are and who your ideal student is.
I'm Lori Baker. I teach English as a second language to adults. So all of my clients are usually adults, the ones that I'm targeting. Usually I target the moms because the dads are at work doing English and the kids are at school doing English, and mom's stuck taking care of everything and her confidence is very low on using her English in public. Mm-hmm. So awesome. Most of my sales conversations are actually over text or email, because they don't want to talk to me on the phone.
And then do you bring them in for a consultation or anything like that at any step of the process?
Usually after we start, we'll work on one thing at a time. I usually work on one of their to-dos that they need to get taken care of. Then I do an assessment. It's more of a rubrics that they fit into instead of a test. But I share that information with them usually in the first or second session, because usually what they want to start learning at the beginning, what they think is their problem, is not their problem.
Okay.
So it's a different type of assessment.
Yeah, for sure. And so you do kind of go through like an assessment process, but you don't tell them that it's an assessment process, or do you tell them it's an assessment process?
I do not.
You do not. So it's just kind of like through conversation. And then you're getting most of them. So they're better writers than speakers.
Writers and speakers, yes.
And they can read the language better than they can actually communicate it and speak it.
Mm-hmm. Most people that I teach are intermediate level, so you can have a conversation with them, and they can communicate. It's just not as well as they would like for it to be, as good as they would like for it to be.
Right.
Because they're nervous.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us are used to speaking with Spanish or French, the languages that put the adjectives after the nouns. Mm-hmm. They still do that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So do you get them to sign up through your email or your messages before like you move forward with them? You never have like a conversation with them?
I have a conversation with them, and they sign up, and then I do the assessment of what specifically we're going to target once we've started.
And then the assessment, is that during paid sessions or is it free?
Yes, it's paid.
So the assessment piece of it is paid as they move forward. So this is definitely a different scenario than I'm used to, because I usually do the assessment as my way of building trust with my ideal client.
Right.
And then we move forward from there as I'm able to say, okay, here's the things that I'm going to be able to help your child with. And in your case, you would say that here are some of the things that I can help you with that I've noticed as we were working together. But let's pretend we're getting together on a Zoom call.
Okay.
You've gotten them to the point where they feel comfortable to have that Zoom call. I'm not going to be able to go through, obviously, your assessment process. We're going to pretend that we've gone through your assessment process, where you're going to be able to ask me more questions at the end, and then bring on in how you're going to be a solution to some of the problems that I'm experiencing. Sound good?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. And I'm not going to have the broken English. Sorry. I can't even pretend to do that.
Perfectly. Just remember that their responses are very short and direct.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell me a big, long story, usually.
Right.
Okay. So, hi, Joanne. How are you?
Good.
Good. So, where are you living now? Are you in the States already?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. All right. How do you like it? Is it cold?
Yes.
How long have you been living there?
1 month.
Okay, 1 month. So, do you have any kids?
2.
So everyone's settled in school?
Mm-hmm.
All good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's your home country?
China.
China. All right. Did you live in a big city in China or a rural area?
Rural.
Rural. So how is Wisconsin compared to home?
Much colder.
Much colder. All right. Yes, Wisconsin is really cold. So let's talk a little bit about your English journey.
Mm-hmm.
What has it been like for you? Did you learn English in school, or where did you learn it?
Yes, at school, and my dad spoke English to us once in a while.
Okay, so a little formal education in school and then conversational at home.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about your English level?
Not good.
Not good. Does it make you frustrated?
Yes.
When you need to use it?
Yes.
Yes. So I know just moving here, you have lots of things on your to-do list. And what are some of those things that you're putting off because you don't want to do it in English, or you want to wait till your husband gets home so you can go do it? What are some of those things?
I have no idea.
Okay, so some of them are, I want to return my cell phone. It's broken. I want to talk to my kids' teachers, but I don't know what to say. My apartment has a sink that's clogged. Something's wrong with my apartment. So those are the kinds of things that are on their list.
Sure.
That they're waiting. Okay. So, okay, I'm here to help you solve your problems with English. Okay, let's get some of those to-do list things going. When we start lessons together, we will tackle those your first to do. So figure out which one that is. And as we go through, we'll tackle some more and give you the words and the confidence to ask the questions you need to ask. Okay, we'll be all prepared, ready to go talk to the property manager about your apartment things. So I'll have you fill out a survey when we start, and you'll tell me about things you're interested in. Are you interested in cooking? Are you interested in travel? And then we will work on reading, writing, listening, and speaking in those topics. So you're not learning about something you're not interested in because you only have limited time, right? All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to your English?
10.
10. Nice. So what do you think you would be able to do once we start? What are you excited about being able to take care of?
I really want to be able to communicate, talk to, people in my neighborhood, in my community, in my kids' school.
Right. You want to be able to meet the kids' moms that your kids are friends with. Right? Be able to talk about kids' stuff. Connect with your community.
Yeah.
So let's see what times I have available. You can do 1 or 2 lessons a week, depending on how fast you want to see an improvement. So what about Tuesday and Thursday at 11, like this time we're working on right here?
That would be perfect.
Okay. If you can send me your email in the chat, I will send you a form so you can fill it out for our next session that has your information, just address, all of those things. You can fill it out on your own. And I will send you a Zoom link with the welcome package after that form. Okay. How's that sound?
Sounds great. How much do you charge?
I charge $50 an hour.
Great. Thank you so much.
And all of that information and how to pay is in the welcome packet.
Okay. Fantastic.
All right. We'll take care of this. It'll work out.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Great job. I love that. I love how you asked, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? That was fantastic because some people aren't making this their first priority, right? And you really want to work with those people that this is going to be their priority for, and that's perfect. The only thing that I would ask is are you ready to get started?
Okay.
And just kind of add that on in towards the end there. So are you ready to get started and being able to speak, more confidently to the people in your in your neighborhood, in your community? And then, I say, yes, great. And then you just share this is how it works and we're ready to go. Fantastic. Woo, right, you did thanks. Great. You really know your ideal client really well. That really shined as you were sharing in the conversation. So well done on that area, you guys. I didn't know anything about your ideal client, so I appreciated how you shared it with me so that I could try to pretend to be that person.
Right. But I was like, as we get along, you'll understand how I connect without the consultation.
Oh, yeah, no, and you totally can connect right there. And that is a consultation, isn't it?
Yeah.
That this whole entire piece of it, that is the consultation. You're getting that information from that person. Like, you can't move forward. You can't just say to somebody without a conversation or even like you can do it through email if you wanted to, but it's really that connection that is going to help them trust you more, right? That you understand what they're going through. And I totally felt the entire time that you understood what I was going through, even though I didn't know what I was going through. I love it. Fantastic. We've got Nathan in the house, you guys. Nathan, tell us a little bit more about who you are and your ideal student.
Hi, I'm Nathan. So I'm a math tutor. I've been thinking for today, my ideal student is probably like a high school senior, maybe in their first AP class, and their parents are reaching out to me.
Okay, great. Great. So here we go. Let's get this party started. So let's pretend we've already gone through the whole like email process. We're on the Zoom call where we're finally meeting each other, and go through like that consultation side of it. You ready?
Okay.
All right. So we come on. What's the first thing you're going to say?
Hi, this is Nathan.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm glad we can make it online today.
Yeah.
Um, so, what's going on? What
You
can I
know,
help you with?
well, my son, he is a senior right now in high school. He's got accepted into Madison, and I'm so excited for him. But he's taking this AP class, which can go towards credits for what he wants to study in. He wants to be a kinesiologist, and he just is not doing well in his AP calculus class right now. He's not even sure if he's really going to need it, but AP calculus is one of those classes that is going to count towards his credits, and I'd really like to be able to see him get like a 4 or 5 on that test.
Okay, okay, that's awesome. That's awesome that he got accepted into a school. Was
Yeah,
that his first choice? Was that his first
that
choice?
was his first choice. Yes.
Oh, that is super exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very,
So
very
how's
excited.
so how's he feeling right now in his AP calculus class?
He's feeling lost. I mean, he comes home and I just see him like sitting at the kitchen table and I'm like, dude, I wish I could help you, but I don't remember any of the calculus that I learned back in the day. It's gone. Like I don't use it. I've lost it. And so, here I am. I'm cooking dinner and I can just see the frustration on his face when he's, trying to study and it's not that he's doing terrible in the class. He's getting a low B, which this is like the lowest score he's ever gotten. He's got super high scores at everything, but this is just kicking his butt.
Right. So, wow, that sounds like it can be very, very frustrating. What has his math journey been like before AP calculus?
I've never noticed that he's ever had any kind of problem. When I was asking about it, he just says, I just don't get how this teacher is explaining it to me. I don't get it. I don't understand what they're saying, and I can't put the pieces together.
Okay. In his like last math class or his previous ones, did he normally have high grades?
Yeah, I mean, he's had high grades. He has a 3.9 right now.
Okay. And did those come easy for him, or did he have to work really hard for those grades in math?
I think he's definitely worked for his grades. I mean, it hasn't
Okay.
come super easy for him, but he's worked
Okay.
for it and he's always been able to do extra credit that would always raise his grades up, and this teacher doesn't have any extra credit for them to do.
Okay. Okay. So, I don't want you or your son to feel bad. AP calculus is a big jump from anything they've ever done before. And in fact, there's many things about AP calculus that are a bigger jump than taking calculus in college.
Mm.
Um, so often students who have felt confident in math, when they get to AP calculus, all that's gone because they're like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Because a
Mhm.
lot more is expected out of them,
Yeah.
and it's not like anything they've ever seen before. It is a completely different ballgame.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, so what things have you and he tried up to this point in his AP calculus class?
I obviously haven't tried anything because I don't remember anything whatsoever. But I did ask him, like, hey, have you tried going to talk to the teacher, before school? Because, I know that sometimes teachers have office hours and sometimes they show up before school. Sometimes they're even there after school. But he says that every time he goes in there, there's so many kids in there that he never gets any kind of attention. So
Okay.
it just seems like a waste of his time.
Okay. Um, is his I like to ask a bunch of questions so I have a better idea of how to help and be more
Hmm.
specific, help him and you meet your goals. Is his homework online out of a textbook or a packet that he normally
Usually
gets?
it's, I see him working out of a textbook.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, this is great. I love AP Calculus. There is so much cool stuff you can see in calculus and do and play around with. And I love helping students along the way. I'm a very relaxed tutor. Um, I find that most people's challenges with math are not their brain, it's their emotion.
Mm.
Um, so I expect people to make mistakes. I do this as a job. I make math mistakes. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna learn and improve and get better at what we're doing. The only thing that I expect is that your son does his best,
Hmm.
right? The only thing I'll call a student on is if they're being lazy. That's it.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I definitely don't see that happening. Like he's a pretty
great.
hard worker.
That's cool. So normally what I do in these kind of situations is, because I know especially when kids are in AP class or usually in multiple AP classes, I mean these kinds of students are like, they're on, teams or whatever, so they're super busy. So we do have the option of me providing additional curriculum, but usually what we do is I help him with his homework along the way. Then I can fill in the gaps as they come up. So I'm a very strong believer in strong foundations, because if he has a strong foundation now, he can actually on his own make the connections he needs later on material later. My goal is for him to really not need my help in the future, to be independent learner. So the ideal process here is that he does as much homework as he can on his own before we meet.
Okay.
Then he sends me his assignment. Then that way he already knows which ones are hard.
Sure.
So we don't have to waste time on the easy ones. And we know exactly what we need to drill down on.
Great.
Everything that we do online is saved. So he can reference all of the math work and all of the notes that we make. He can look at any time he wants.
Perfect.
So and I'll make that available. And I also provide a summary after every session for you and for your son. So what did we work on? What were the improvements? What needs to happen before our next session? And you'll have that every time.
Okay. Sounds great.
All right. So have you had a tutor before?
No, we've never needed a tutor before.
Okay, cool. It's not lecturing at all. So those who haven't experienced it, it's very one-on-one, back and forth. I ask a lot of questions all the time. I mean, in fact, your son's kind of the boss. I'll say, okay, what do you think we need to do next? Okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. How do you feel about that? What did we do on the last problem that was like that? Very, 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 very engaged, because the more that your son does, the more he's going to retain. So I'm a big believer of that.
Awesome.
Great. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay.
How much do you charge?
My starting rate per hour is $64 an hour. If you book for 2 hours at a time, I can. It's a 20% discount. I'm super flexible with my schedule. I let you book up to 4 weeks in advance, and and I know, like, if your son wins his basketball game, if he's on a sports team, they might be in a new tournament next week. You're allowed to change your schedule to whatever I have available. So I'm super flexible that way. So I can pull up my calendar now. Let's get your information in here and get your first session booked. A lot of parents and students like a recurring time. So these are the times that I have that are recurring, like every week, ABC, blah. So let's pick one. You can meet more than once a week if you want. If you feel like there's a test coming up and he wants extra prep, we can add more time.
Yeah, I think he would do really well with 2 hours a week.
Okay. All right. So, okay, then calendar. How does Wednesdays at 5 o'clock sound?
Sounds perfect.
Awesome.
Great.
And I am excited. Math is awesome.
I love it. I would say you did a really great job in the beginning of like asking questions, but I could tell that it was such a hard strategy, like for you to be like pulling up questions. It was so funny. Like on this side of it, I was already sold that I was going to work with you probably within the third question.
Okay.
There was a lot of extra chatter that didn't need to happen. The process, the how, and everything that works. I never asked the question, so how does it work?
Okay.
Right? Like I wasn't like, so how does your specific tutoring work? What will that look like? If a parent asks that, of course you're going to answer it, right? But people care more about like, okay, do I feel like he understands my child? Does he like working with kids like mine? Will he be able to? One thing that I noticed, I mentioned that I wanted my kid to get a 4 or a 5 on that test at the end, you never brought that up again. So while
You know what?
you
And I made a
guys-
note. And I made a note to do that.
And this is where it's so important, right? Because if I pull
Okay.
that information back into the conversation, like I know your goal is for him to get that 4 or that 5 so he gets those credits in college and doesn't have to go through this process again, because it really stinks when they get that 3 and then they don't get the college credits and they have to take it over again. And now when he goes into school, he may have to not only listen to someone who can't teach it well, but somebody also with an accent that he can't understand. Right? Like, so bring it back to like their goal, and then you can get right on into the are you ready to get started. So in the beginning, we chat a lot. We talk a lot. We say a whole bunch of things that we don't even need to say. Like, this isn't, you don't have to convince them of anything, right? This is just you learning about them. What is their need? Great. I can provide that for you. You don't have to tell me exactly what is your process. You want to hook more into the emotions versus the logic. So remember, you guys, we do not buy based off of logic. We buy based off of emotion. We use logic to tell people why we bought, but we don't really use logic when we are making the decision. Like, that's why it's so important to get people to connect on like a Zoom call like this, because I can really connect with Nathan like right out of the gate. I really like the way that he talks to me. He's understanding. You were empathetic. You were like, I get it. Like this, you know, your kid's not alone. That was perfect how you brought that on in. Connecting with those emotions is going to be absolutely huge. So, and here's the best part about all of this, you guys. You can get people to say yes, even if you don't follow my strategy 100%. Isn't that great? You're still going to get people who are going to say yes through the process. I had somebody who was super unconfident when I went to hire them to be a house cleaner in my house. She was like, oh my gosh, now we're at the point where we're going to talk about money. She goes, this is the part where I got to take she's like, literally said, I got to take my coat off now. I'm going to start sweating. And I could have pity and grace on her and just be like, it's okay. You know, I understand where you're coming from and how this is a tough part of the process for you. And, you know, but other people may not have been as kind or understanding and would have been like, no, sorry, I'm going to hire someone else. Right. And I think that's just important to know, like, could we have saved some of those people and got them to say yes by trying some of these strategies? So we've got Gloria Feliciano here. How are you, Gloria?
I am well. I'm really enjoying watching everyone else do their introduction and sell their client.
I know, right? Isn't it so fun to kind of watch everybody? It is not as much fun to be on the hot seat, though, is it, guys? Although it's not so bad, right? It's not so bad. It's not so bad. In fact, I know some of you guys are watching this right now and you're like, oh my gosh, Joanne, I would love to be able to practice with you. Beth is going to put a link inside of the chat. If you're like, I would really like to make sure that I sound more confident when I go through this process, she's going to put a link up inside of YouTube, inside of the Facebook group. So those of you that want to be able to practice this with me have that opportunity. So Gloria, tell us a little bit more about who you are and who your ideal student is.
Sure. I'm Gloria Feliciano, and my ideal client has a high school or middle school student who is struggling in science class, maybe for the first time. And so I'm working both with the student or the parent to get these tutoring sessions set up. And I do mainly life sciences and earth science in high school, and middle school is usually integrated.
Sure.
And I have prepared today for something where I will have talked with the student and tried to find out a little bit about what's going on, but had a more brief conversation with the parent.
Great.
This student is going to be a student in earth science in high school, and she's got a special ed designation, getting a little help, but it's not coming together for her.
And does she want to go into a career for anything with sciences?
No.
No. So she's like, this is like the whole big goal is for her just to graduate at this point in
Yeah.
time. Okay. Got it. All right. Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll meet through Zoom, and you've already met with my child. Fantastic. And now we're just having the parent conversation.
Mrs. Kaminsky, it's great to meet with you on Zoom. I had a
Thank you.
good time talking with Emily. She's very social, isn't she?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea.
Well, I think that if we could get her understanding her science the way she understands her friends, she'd make a tremendous leap forward.
Yes.
I was wondering, have you had any contact with the school, either her special ed teachers or her earth science teacher about her class? What are you hearing?
You know, I haven't heard too much. I have been trying to get into contact with both of them, and we've set up a meeting for I think next week we have it set on up because I haven't heard a lot from them, and I was really concerned when I went into her grades, and it says that she's not turning in assignments and she's not really doing well on the tests either. So I was like, this just cannot happen. This could, wreck her chances for being able to graduate on time, and I definitely don't want that to happen for her.
Oh, I hear you. That gets to be a real worry for us parents as the graduation nears, and you don't want one class to knock them off track.
No, and I'm never going to be able to get her to sign up for summer school. She's just done with that. So.
All right. Well, let's see if we can do something that's going to be more helpful. So when I was talking with Emily, I asked her about this. The unit that she just had to try and gauge her retention. I asked her some more about what she's studying now. She shared with me that she does cards for vocabulary, and she seemed to be learning the vocabulary. The big gap that I was seeing was that she wasn't integrating these different concepts. She didn't know how they related to each other. And so big cycles like the rock cycle, what happens to different rocks under different conditions and how they end up as different kinds of rocks, totally lost on that, despite the fact that she knew the words involved. Is there any other area that she's brought up to you that she was concerned about?
I've been helping her with just like practicing. She creates her own flashcards, and then she has me like quiz her and test her. But I do see like exactly what you're saying. It seems like she can recall the definition, but she's not able to integrate these thoughts and ideas. So she tells me that she's really struggling when she has to write her responses out. Those open response questions are just killing her. And again, like, she can tell you the definition of any word and she practices that really hard, but she's just not putting the pieces together.
She's struggling with something that's a struggle for a lot of students, whether they're special ed or not. And there was something that I hit on when I was in college, just learning to gather together the threes of this and the fours of that, and knowing that if I had to explain a certain concept, I needed to hit those points. I could also find them if they were in a multiple choice thing, because I knew they belonged together, and how they related to the level above and the level below. And I think that we really need to work on that kind of structure for her. I think that I have several strategies that are going to help her. And so when I tutor, one thing that I like to do is work on the unit that they're working on. And while I'm doing that, I want to apply the different study strategies that might work better for her. I think I think that her confidence is going to come up and that she's going to feel better as she starts to see that. And then also, if you or she can maybe take some pictures of her past tests,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can look those over.
Sure.
The final will come sooner or later, and she
Mhm.
doesn't want to be caught short on that.
Right.
So we can work in some review of that the whole time.
That'd be perfect.
And so you're nodding. It sounds like this is resonating with you. Are you ready to get started?
I am. Let's do this. Yep.
Okay. I can work for, we can arrange a once a week session, and I have the flexibility when she has a test to come up, not the night before, but actually a few nights before, for us to have an extra session for her to organize her study and have a way to look at, what's the teacher looking for.
Yeah, exactly. That would be perfect. That's exactly what we need.
Good. Okay. I charge $50 an hour.
I didn't ask. I didn't ask. I'm ready to get started.
So, yes, you're ready to get started. Okay, so it's Thursday. Is Thursday about this time a good time for Emily, or do we need to be a little later in the evening for her?
I know this will actually be perfect. She's home on Thursdays this time every week.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get her set up on a regular basis in my calendar, and then I can share later how to add any additional sessions. If you'd like to set me up either with a Venmo or a credit card, we can set that up as a recurring payment if you want to pay by the month.
You can do that on Venmo?
No, not on Venmo.
Oh, I was like, wait, what? Is there something I don't know about Venmo?
No, you're absolutely right, Mrs. Kaminsky.
I love it. Okay, so you're sharing way too many details about the whole pricing process, right? You were taking the cues that, yes, I was nodding along. You were taking that cue, like, I'm ready to get started. Like, so again, just it's almost like it's a confidence thing sometimes, that we feel like we have to say more than we need to. Right? And so then we just start talking about, okay, what could I talk about next? Don't worry about having to fill that time. You ready to get started? Let's do this. Let's get her understanding these concepts. And, Thursday this time work? Yes? Perfect. Awesome. Here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to send you a document that will go through how payment works, and we'll get that all set on up. And then I'll see her next Thursday at 5:00. Sound good? Perfect. Done.
Sounds good.
Yep. That's all they're looking for, you guys. I'm not even kidding you. They just like, yes, I'm ready to get started. I don't have to go into details on my payment plan. These are the 5 different options that you can choose. Here's how you can get cheaper sessions. They do not want all of that information. Okay. You're confusing them and you're bogging them down. Right? If they say how much you charge, you tell them. If they don't ask you how much you charge, you don't tell them. Send it, though, to them. Send that information right to them. Be like, I'm going to send you a document that has all the information. Don't send them to your website. This is the biggest mistake that people make. They're like, I'm going to send you to my website. And then we think they're just going to click and they're going to go exactly where we want. What ends up happening is sometimes they click there and they don't go where you wanted them to go. And so then they get bogged down. Send in a document how your payment works, be done with it. Then they have that information right there. They don't have to go searching for it, figure it out, or any of that kind of stuff. So send that information to them, document, ready, set to go. And if you can grab their credit card information right then and there, do you know how much hassle you are going to save yourself? A ton. I'm telling you. If you're just like, awesome, do you have a credit card that you would like to use? If all of a sudden they're like, whoa, hold the horse, like, you're going to find out right there if there are any problems, right? Because what they don't tell you is why they're going to not move forward with you. They don't tell you this, right? They may be like shaking their head. Yes, this is great. Let's get started. Let's set up that first session. And then all of a sudden, you never hear from them again. They ghost you. You grab their credit card information. Oh, things just changed. This is for real. This is serious. And I'm going to show up for that next session. They're not going to ghost you. So then you don't have to worry, right? You've set up the time. You have their credit card information. You set up the payment. It is all good to go from there. So just say, great, what credit card would you like to use? Do not be scared about setting that up, guys. I'm telling you, grab their credit card information. Some of you guys are like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to have their credit card information. Like, I know, I get it. But if you can easily just set that up inside of Stripe right away. And then you have that information. Venmo is a very tricky way to be able to get paid and keep it legal and legit. You have to remember you guys are all running a legit online tutoring business at this point in time. You must set up, if you're going to do Venmo as your business, you must set it up as a business account. They're still going to charge you, okay? They're going to charge you because you're doing that, but you have to share with the government how much money you make. This is no longer like tutoring is no longer an under the table kind of job. This is a career, right? So we have to treat it that way. We have to pay our taxes. We have to do all that kind of stuff. And so if you're going to use Venmo and you set it up as a business account, are you better off using Venmo versus like PayPal or Stripe that you could send those automatic invoices? Yeah, no. Yeah. And it loses all of its sexiness for sure because it doesn't have those abilities to do that. So if you use Stripe, you can put their credit card information right on into the system and you can set up their automatic payment each month. So then you are now not worrying about, oh, I have to send out all these invoices and will they pay me? Won't they pay me? All that kind of stuff. It skips that whole entire process. All right, we've got time for one more person. I'm so sorry we won't be able to get to everyone today, but we have Latrice here. Latrice, hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good, and you?
I am fabulous. Thank you. Latrice, tell us a little bit more about who you are and who you serve.
Okay, so I'm Latrice Hoy. I serve K through 8 and reading comprehension because I believe that reading comprehension is like the foundation for every subject that we take. Mm-hmm. So my ideal client most definitely is that K through 8, mainly the elementary level, so they could get that foundation in the beginning. And today I will be talking to a mom and her child that's in the 2nd grade.
Okay.
So that child is having reading comprehension issues in reading, in math problems, like math, word problems, things of that nature.
Yeah, so. Perfect. All right, I can do that. I can do that. Okay. Now, finally, I'm in my element now. I get that. That was me, actually. That was me. I struggled with comprehension. So, yay, I can pretend to be that person. I love it. All right, so we're going to come on. You've done the assessment now, and we're going to come on and have the conversation after the assessment. So, here we go.
Okay. Hello, Joanne. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I am good.
Awesome.
Where is your son? I don't see him.
No. He went off to basketball practice.
Oh, okay. I was looking forward to getting to meet him and get to know a little bit more about him. So why are we meeting today? Oh, no, we did the comprehension already. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We did the assessment and all that already.
Yep.
So I see that he is having a little trouble with his comprehension, dealing with his reading, short stories, nonfiction, fiction, all of that.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing? What are the teachers seeing in school? Kind of give me some more feedback on what's going on with him exactly.
Yeah, it's so weird. Even when he was little, he just didn't, like, I would read to him all the time, and he just didn't really, like, connect with the stories or any of that kind of stuff. And now I see him, when he doesn't like to pick up books at all. He doesn't like to read on his own. It's always a big fight for us to read. Even when I ask him questions, like, just straight out, like, who are the characters? He can't remember the names of the characters, even for a story that he's reading. And his teachers are noticing that he He never raises his hand. He never asks questions, and he just seems kind of lost. And it's not just affecting his reading; it's affecting math too, because he's for some reason just isn't understanding how to answer like those like word problems and stuff. He can do the math perfectly fine, but put a word problem in front of him, now he can't figure it out.
Yeah. How has he expressed his emotions and how he feel about reading?
He hates it. He just like
He
tells me,
absolutely
I
hates
hate
it.
reading.
Okay.
He shouts. And I'm just at a loss. I just don't know what to do. I feel like, ever since he was little, I've just tried to make literacy like a really important thing. And he's always fought me on this.
So with the books and things that he's reading, I'm just curious, is he reading things that he's interested in, or is usually stuff that he really don't have interest in?
Well, it's all school stuff. So, I mean, he
It's all school
he doesn't
stuff.
he won't pick up a book on his own, but, and I have to, when he's got to read books at home, it's just this big fight. Like, I feel like it doesn't even matter if he likes the topic or not. He would just rather watch TV or play video games.
Okay. So with that being said, how is his schedule with school? Like when he comes home, is he like tired, agitated? The time that we read during the day has a lot to do with it also.
He seems to be fine. He seems to be very excited when he is done with school because he is just not a school kid.
Okay. I could totally relate to that when I was a kid. Totally relate to that. So with his comprehension, pretty much what I do is I will put him in the shoes of the character, and I would like to get to know him a little bit better, like the things that he's into, what he likes, so I can relate that story to real day life of his life. So he can understand comprehension a little bit better. I found that has actually been effective, and I'm pretty sure that he will like it too. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, anything we can do to try to get him to at least like it a little bit more so that he can really connect. I mean, he's just doing terrible. He has to take these tests, these like accelerated reading tests for books that he reads. He doesn't pass any of them.
Okay. All right. So has this been an ongoing thing, like ever since he was younger? I know he's still pretty young now, but when he first started reading, has it always been like this?
Yeah, I mean, even when I was reading to him, this has just been something that I just thought when he was younger, he just wasn't paying attention to me. But now I realize that there's something else going on that he can't even just recall, like simple facts.
Simple facts. Okay. So I understand. We will most definitely get that comprehension under control where he's able to feel confident and more secure about reading and actually doing his other subjects also. So we can most definitely bring those grades up, most definitely bring his confidence up and how he even perceive reading comprehension altogether as a whole. How do you feel about that?
Sounds perfect.
Okay. Are you ready to get started?
We are. Yes.
Okay. We can get started. My schedule is open Tuesday and Thursday at 4:00.
That would be great. Yep.
Okay.
He's home by 3:30, so 4:00 will work.
Okay, so we will get started at 4 next week.
All right, sounds good.
If you want to, we could go ahead and take a payment now, if you like. We actually do monthly payments.
Okay.
So I usually take those at the first of the month, but if you want to go ahead and it's like the middle of the month right now, if you want to go ahead and give me your credit card information, I can set you up for those monthly payments and taking the payment.
All right, I'll go grab my credit card.
Okay.
See how easy that was?
Yeah.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
This kind of threw me for a loop a little bit because I always have the parents bring the children to this conversation because my focus is always on the child.
Okay.
And how they feel about the whole situation and what their interests are outside of school.
Yeah.
So I can kind of tailor their tutoring sessions to them.
Yeah.
So this most definitely threw me off.
Well, and you had already done the assessment to find out that he was struggling in
yeah.
comprehension to know with that. So then I would just send him off to basketball.
I was like, oh, he's on the basketball? Okay. Let me find
Okay,
something.
so at first I thought I was a girl. So when you said, "Where's your son?" I was like, "Oh, he's off at basketball."
Yeah, I usually have boys, so it was, son, boy came. That was the first came to mind.
Yeah. Oh, so funny, so funny. But no, you did fantastic. That's awesome. And the only thing I would share is, where is his comprehension level at? Because you already did the assessment. Where is it at right now? Like, and this is a hard conversation to have with them because they're usually right on, right? And you may find that he's at a kindergarten comprehension level. They need to hear that. While that's tough to say, so I sometimes will have the kid there with me as well. I do leave it up to the parent whether they want the child to be part of this conversation or not. But I don't sugarcoat anything at this point in time. So that's totally up to the parent, right? If they want their child there. I will tell them like, okay, right now what I'm noticing is when I had them reading at a kindergarten level, they were totally able to read all the words. It sounded great, right? But then when I asked questions, even pulling up some answers to some of those questions that were right there questions, they really struggled with. So right now, the comprehension level is at a kindergarten level. So he's about 2 years behind where he needs to be. But the great news is, right, we will easily be able to catch him up so that he can do that. I'm going to give you here's some resources that you can use in between sessions, along with our tutoring to be able to bring that on up. So if you have any results that you could share with them, you definitely want to share that during this conversation because they want to know how that assessment went.
Yes,
like
that's true.
that's their number one thing. Like, so how did the assessment go? How did he do? Right. So that was the one thing I was kind of like waiting for since you did the free assessment. I'm like, ooh, how did he do? I should have asked the question. I didn't ask the question, but yeah, that's fantastic. You guys all did so great today, and you are going to go on to hopefully you're able to take like one piece of tidbit of information that you'll be able to bring on into these conversations with your students as you guys move forward. And hopefully those of you guys who are watching through this entire process, you are able to take some techniques and strategies away from the process as well that will turn you into a more confident tutor that is ready to nail every single one of these conversations and be able to land that client. I love it. By the way, Amy John Chagava said, I love Latrice, and her Facebook page is fire. She is the queen of content, rich posts, and supports. So, way to go, Latrice. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.